In 1962, Harold found himself down in Brazil working on a project with the Paul Winters Sextet. And while doing some recording down there in Brazil, Harold noticed some of the Brazilian percussionists were transporting their sticks around in these nifty little leather quivers, much like you would carry arrows in if you're, an archer. And I didn't know this, being someone who was born in the 1980s. I just assumed this thing was always a thing. But prior to 1962, unless you had something custom made for yourself or you were pretty nifty with, sewing and things of that sort, stick bags weren't really a thing. Maybe some of you guys knew that. I didn't know that. I just assumed stick bags were always around. But up until that point, most people just carried their drumsticks either, on their person or maybe in the trap case or hardware box. And Harold saw these Brazilian percussionists carrying their sticks around in these little leather quivers. He asked one of them, "Hey, do you have one of those that I could take back with me to the States? That's an incredible idea." And the guy was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So he gave him one of these leather quivers, and when Harold flew back home to the States, he met up with his good buddy Al Pasek, the legendary percussionist from Chicago, and he said, "Hey, Al, look at this thing. I think we could really make a huge impact on the drumming world with this." And Al was like, "Absolutely. Why hasn't anybody done this before?" So they took this quiver to one of Al's percussion people that would make, cases for drums and cymbals and things like that. They said, "Hey, could you make something like this but put a zipper on it so you could zip it shut?" And the guy was like, "Oh, absolutely." So they made the first drumstick bag. And kind of jokingly, but sort of seriously too, Al Pasek's wife called it Jonesy's Stick Tote. Harold Jones's nickname was Jonesy. So they took Jonesy's Stick Tote around to all the major drum brands. They took it to Ludwig. They took it to Gretsch. They took it to Rogers and all the other big-name drums at the time back in 1962. And guess what they said? They said, "Nah, there's no market for such a thing like that. That's crazy." So Al Pasek continued to make, small batches of them and sell them to people that he knew. And before long, stick bags were starting to appear magically from some of those other companies that they had talked to. And Harold Jones and Al Pasek together are the co-creators of the modern-day stick bag. The more you know. Lastly,